a lot of our gamers' lives were made by indie devs, by indie teams, sometimes for free. And I think like this Unity community, especially here in New York City, what we have is a very creative community. Not only are they making games, they're making installations, they're making all sorts of really interesting things, and it's a really friendly community as well. So people really help each other out, and I think at the same time they take inspiration from each other. So some design patterns are starting to emerge. And speaking of audio AR, for example, so we're starting to start seeing some design patterns emerge. Now other people are gonna be like, oh, okay, so I can kind of work within this pattern, maybe change it up a little bit. Like, let's talk about like platformer, for example. Right. Platformer is a pattern, Mario, and then platformers just started coming out. Very similar mechanic. You jump on top of the character gets squashed, and you pick up power-ups. Same with audio AR, for example. We're seeing design patterns. For example, we're seeing some of these party games where it's like a handoff. Like, I give you my headphones, you take the phone, we play together. Right. That's one pattern. Then another pattern is kind of this Flappy Bird kind of quick catch, like just kind of like with your orientation. That's more like Bose AR. Then there's like choose your own adventure games. That's been a pretty popular pattern, and that one makes sense too, because it's like it's audio based. So we have these gestures, we have nods, so you can affirm or negative. So it's like you can say yes or no in a storyline, and that's like kind of immersive. Right. You're not like staring at a screen and saying yes or no, which is, you could do that, but
there's some media that's come out that kind of tries to bring back that choose your own adventure book, but it's immersion breaking. And the more intuitive you can make your mechanics, the less, the more you can really sink into the story itself.
Yeah, I mean, think of like you could walk on the street and be playing some of these games, like, again, without staring at your phone. Now, all of us are, our necks are craned because we're always like this. But I think in the future, just not even just audio AR, but all the immersive hardware and media, it's going to become more in the real world.
Would you say it would be heads up, hands free?
I definitely think so. Yeah, I think like I mean, besides maybe if you're trying to gesture something, right? But you're definitely not gonna just be staring at a little screen. I think that's gonna be like caveman when we look at it, like in the future, that we were doing that.
Well, I'd certainly like to think that the help of as industrious developers as we have sitting with us, that future is coming sooner rather than later.
It paves the way, and another thing that's interesting, for example, about Bose AR is that we actually already have 1 million AR-enabled devices out there. So people buy these headphones for their noise canceling qualities. They buy them for the Bose sound quality. The Bose AR stuff, it's just like an added bonus. So the idea is there's a lot of AR headsets out there. There's Magic Leaps, there's HoloLenses and whatnot, but people aren't buying those for lifestyle. People are buying Bose products. You live with it. I carry my headphones with me like every day. So it's like, when we think about it that way, when we think about AR that way, when it becomes a wearable that you just actually already have. You're not wearing AR just to do a specific task. You already have AR on you for everything else. And then, you're much more likely to actually do an AR experience.
Well, once they integrate my VR into my contacts, it's game over for me going to work. But anyway.
Well, that will be work then.
I think that that's our time. Is that correct? All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks again, Filip, Paige, and Kevin. This has been awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. Check out. Enjoy the rest of the convention. Thanks a lot.